Crunch goes unshielded. They now switch out to a fairy as per fucking usual. People love to two-shield the fairy, but Skuntank really doesn't fucking care. We tank the first surf. We are committing to the poison jab farm down. It's going to be high Tapu Fini. Bye Tapu Fini. Get fucking wrecked. So, welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. It's been around a week that I haven't posted a video. It's probably the longest break I've ever had on YouTube. And that's probably because I'm so bored of this meta. We've had 9 months now with no move updates, no new Shadow Pokemon. I was messing around with some stuff in the Summer Cup and I went on a nice 0-9 run because, let's not kid ourselves, a lot of time my Spice goes fucking terribly. So we managed to tank a grand total of 200 points. You love to see it. But we then hit the Open Ultra League, back running my go-to team. Time and time again, I tell you, this is the team to run. We went a 9-game win streak in our first 2 sets. Went 9-1. So here it is once again. If you're looking for a team to climb, Shadow Poliwrath, double Dark Poison, you love to see it. So getting into the first battle, we led into Shadow Drapion. Stay in school, kids. Learn to count. I caught the Sludge Bomb on my own Drapion, and as you can tell, my Hundo Shadow Drapion is the absolute monster in this meta. Scrafty goes for the foul play, but guess what, buddy? That is not going to save you. The opponent is going to have to shield or lose switch. Drapion, flip switch. We've now got ourselves in a great position. I'm once again going to look to catch the second move on Skuntank. How this ABB team works is you draw out the hardest counter for a Dark Poison type, and the second one, aka the big skunk, usually sweeps, and this opponent completely agrees. They quit the match. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see the big fat walrus in the lead. Pretty sweet for Poliwrath. I'm always mindful of the sacrificial swap. I look to CMP tie on the Earthquake. Even with my absolutely beautiful rank 10 IVs, we still win CMP against the walrus. Dynamic punch lands for big damage. We tank the Earthquake, switch out into Drapion, and the opponent answers with the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. But Drapion is pretty decent in this matchup. You don't want Aquatau in Ultra League because it's garbage. Crunch and Sludge Bomb is the way to go. We're now calling the Flame Charge bait. As always, I absolutely dare the opponent to Brave Bird me, and I didn't think so. Drapion gets rid of Talonflame. What is the opponent now going to come in with? They have a Charmer in the back, and this is where Skunk is going to absolutely feast. You've got 2 shields, Mr. Opponent, and you can save them for Season 12. The opponent is looking to charm all the way down. They actually make a mistake. They throw a move. We sneak a poison jab, and this game is so over. It's unbelievable. I'll bring Poliwrath back in. We are going to attempt a mud shot down and unleash a couple of skulls, but it looks like we aren't going to make it. They're going to take us out with another Icicle Sphere, but one poison jab is going to take them out, and then we're just going to fast move down and clean up this battle. Skuntank 2 for 2, cleaning up. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we lead Shadow Poliwrath into Tapu Fini. Not as bad as you would think, but obviously with double poison in the back, we say switch into Drapion, and once again we're answered with Scrafty. Scrafty, the Dark Poison answer, apparently, but you're going to see in this video, it really isn't. We don't bait on this channel. Sludge Bomb lands for big damage. The opponent is going to be forced to shield the second one, or they're going to be very sad, and this opponent is now very sad because with Flip Switch, it now means Skuntank is going to absolutely feast on that Tapu Fini. They've got Nidoqueen in the back. Drapion still isn't done. We make one more crunch. The opponent banks the Poison Fang, switch out into Tapu Fini, and it's going to be high Tapu Fini. Bye Tapu Fini. We're not going to shield the first surf. We'll shield the second. We're going to commit all the way to the farm down. You can see Poison Jab absolutely tearing through them. We're going to shield this up. We should leave with the back-to-back moves. The Nidoqueen is going to have to throw or get hit with double crunch. First crunch should be drawing a shield from the opponent, which it does. We make crunch number 2. The poison jab doesn't take us out, and this game, once again, is over. They no-shield the second one. They've got an Earth Power, we have a shield, and the opponent concedes the match. 3 for 3 with Skunk cleaning up. You love to see it. GG's. Moving on to the next battle, we see a legend lurking in the lower reload range, around 2600 I believe these battles are, but stay in school kids, learn to count. That stupid legend pose in a trash season does not scare me. We catch the seed bomb on our Drapion. The opponent once again answers with Scrafty. Is Mr. Legend on the opposing team going to be shielding up the sludge bomb? They don't shield the first. How about the second? Are you going to allow me to flip switch? Well, stay tuned. You're about to find out. Drapion 3 for 3 on Scrafty counters. You love to see it. Back out comes Trevadent, and hi Trevadent, meet my good buddy Skuntank. Poison jabs, hit for neutral, we resist Shadow Claw. Both our charge moves, hit for super effective, we're sitting in a sweet spot. The opponent goes for the Seed Bomb rather than the Shadow Ball. They now make a great catch, catching the Crunch on Wall Rain, but it still does huge damage. We are going to look to catch the Icicle Sphere. In return, on Poliwrath, we don't catch it, but we have the Dynamic Punch locked and loaded. The opponent burns the first shield. We're still not in Earthquake range. We are going to shield absolutely nothing. Earthquake doesn't do a whole load of damage. We are going to make the second Dynamic Punch we throw on a CMP tie. Poliwrath does always win CMP, and this is beautiful. The opponent has burnt the final shield. Icicle Sphere doesn't quite take us out. They get a little bit of farm, but Skunktank's one poison jab away from the move. We throw on once again a CMP tie. Down goes Wall Rain. The opponent should be reaching for the top left. I've got 2 shields. I know they're going to go straight Seed Bomb. I probably could flex, but fuck it. We're just going to shield up both the Seed Bombs. We're already at the Crunch, and this game is over. Skuntank cleaning up once again. A really underused pick in this meta, but I couldn't recommend it highly enough. You're looking for something a bit off meta that evidently beats all the basic bitch teams. Skuntank should be your go-to. Moving on to the next battle, we see Scrafty in the lead. Holy crap, every person is running Scrafty. So if you're looking for something toxic, just run Double Charm and you are going to tear through this meta. The opponent switches out into a Walrus. Walrus is definitely worse than Scrafty. Scrafty at least is hitting us with some decent counter damage. I now switch out into Skuntank. I am going to shield up the Icicle Sphere because most of these teams are going to have either A9 or Jelly in the back. So Skuntank will become pretty handy. They come back in to Scrafty. We're not going to shield up the power-up punch, but is the opponent going to respect our coverage move of Flamethrower? Flamethrower with non-stab isn't the best move, but it still lands for big damage. The opponent is looking to farm down. Skuntank once again going off. We fire off the Crunch. The opponent does have Jellison in the back, and this game is over. We make one more Crunch. This will be getting a shield from the opponent. They're obviously thinking Jelly is great against Poliwrath, but guess what, Mr. Opponent? It's really dreadful against Drapion. They're on Bubble Beam. I've got no idea why the opponent is staying in. I really wish they would top left and save all of our time, but we can play it out if they wish. The opponent now goes for the sneaky Shadow Ball, but that is still resisted, and Drapion really doesn't care. I am going to fire off one more Crunch. Crunch is going to land for decent damage. The opponent finally realizes it's over, and that's all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. So after losing 200 points, running a load of nonsense, we go a nice 5-0. I don't normally put these things in, but when you get a shiny, fuck it, we'll show it. My catching skills, not the best, but we still managed to pick up the shiny Absol. It is my first one, so I can't really complain. I'm not a shiny hunter, but we'll take that. Moving on to the next battle. We lead Poliwrath into this Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. I always look to catch the charge move onto my Drapion. So you throw out 7, they're 1 turn away from the move. You can actually switch out now, even if they Brave Bird. I'm really not that bothered, as we are just going to sack 1 poison type. They actually go for the flame charge. They come in to the big tin can, Mr. Reggie Steel. Crunch after Crunch is going to be the play. The opponent actually outpaces us to the charge move. This should be taking us out, but the opponent actually goes for an undercharge. I'm not really sure if that's the right play or not, because we are just going to lower their health into a dynamic punch range. The opponent is going to farm us down, but Drapion is going to get this thing super low. As always, kids, stay in school. Learn to count is really important to keep track of lock-ons. It's 75 energy for the Focus Blast and 80 for the Zap Cannon. Flash Cannon is 70, and I believe this is an old Reggie Steel. They go for the Focus Blast. So I'm going to count up. I'm going to throw on a CMP tie to the next Focus Blast. Skull should be taking care of Reggie Steel, and to my surprise, the opponent actually shields it up. I think that's probably a rage play from the opponent, but either way, we are going to shield it up. Mud Shot all the way down, and to my absolute surprise, they come back in 2 Talonflames. So here's the play. Skull's going to land. We're going to snipe with the Skunk Wham Bam combo play, and it's Gyarados in the back. I've got no idea why you wouldn't come in to Gyarados versus my Poliwrath, but either way, the opponent hasn't played this particularly well, but we're going to take the dub either way. They're going to fire off an Aqua Tail. Even if they manage to get rid of this, any move from Poliwrath is going to take them out, and we do resist both their charge moves, but Skunk once again doesn't need Poliwrath, and that is a good game. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, shout out to this opponent repping that new Galarian Arcanine, the absolute spice. You love to see it, but Poliwrath does hit for double super effective with Scald. They save switch into Cresselia. We get a whole shitload of lag. I've got no idea where the opponent's energy's at. But we are going to tank the Moonblast as I'm unsure where they're at. I don't dare overfarm too much. I'd normally look to CMP tie on the next Moonblast, but either way, we'll look to get rid of it as soon as possible. The opponent doesn't shield. If they come back in to Arcanine, we are going to outpace to one more crunch, and this is going to land for some decent neutral damage. Arcanine is pretty glassy. The opponent is going to have to throw, and they do throw immediately, but this Arcanine is dead weight for them, so we're just going to have to handle whatever is in the back, and they have a Charmer. So once again, Skuntank is going to feast. The opponent this time is a bit smarter. They're looking to charm all the way down, but Skunk doesn't care. Even without a sneak, we still manage to farm down. We fire off the first crunch. This draws a shield from the Arcanine. We are going to fire off crunch number 2. The opponent has double shielded, and this game is definitely over. I believe they've got nothing that can hit us for any meaningful damage, even wild charge. If they've got it, I'm not entirely sure. It wouldn't one-shot, so we choose to save 2 shields for Season 12. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we lead Shadow Poliwrath into another Shadow Poliwrath. Are we running a mirror team? Probably not. I don't really think anyone else runs this team other than me, but if you are watching this, I would recommend it. We get yet more lag. We fire off the Dynamic Punch. We've got no idea if they've got any fast moves in. They shield up our Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch doesn't one-shot, so I am going to call the bait, and the opponent doesn't bait me. They do throw really quickly. I'm hoping they didn't sneak, and this is just an Ice Punch, which it is. We are going to fire off Dynamic Punch number 2, and then I'm going to look to dip into Skuntank. I normally use Drapion as the switch, but Poison Sting doesn't do too much damage. It's safer to come into Skunk. Look to Poison Jab down. The opponent goes once again for a bait. They had enough for the Dynamic Punch, but obviously the opponent is a master baiter, or at least they'd like to think so. They now come in to Talonflame, and we are going to get off the back-to-back crunches. Is the opponent willing to burn their final shield? Yes, they are. They still haven't thrown. Mr. Opponent, what are you doing? You was at 100 energy. A huge misplay from the opponent. Perhaps an overtap, but either way, they've got Cresselia in the back, and they are staying in. Little do they know, we've got a present for them in the back. We're going to allow Skunk to go down. We've just got to be mindful of the catch. Everyone is going to attempt to catch at some stage. This opponent does try. We don't fall for it, and that is all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one, we see another Talonflame in the lead. We're going to throw at 7, hopefully draw a shield or take the damage. Either way, we don't care. As they're one turn away from getting the energy, we switch out into Drapion. Does this opponent throw the Brave Bird? Nope, another beta with the Flame Charge. They now switch out into Swamperts. This is how the team is supposed to function. We're switching to one of our Dark Poisons to draw out the ground type. The opponent is going to take me out, but I really don't care. We're going to allow our Drapion to go down. We're going to come back in to the Poliwrath. Poliwrath's only job now is to take out this Swampert, and then we should be in a great position to sweep. I believe this is just a Hydro Cannon, which it is. We are going to overfarm just a touch, throw the Scald. Scald should be taking care of Swampert, which it does. Back out comes a Talonflame. This is just a Flame Charge. There's no point in shielding it up. They only threw 2 more Incinerates. We lose CMP, we fire off the Scald. Scald will either land or do big damage. The opponent shields it up. We switch out into Skunk. We are going to have to respect whatever they throw. We get to the crunch just before they get to the next move. Crunch lands for big damage. We sneak a Poison Jab. Down's going to go Talonflame. We shield up the Flame Charge. What's in the back? It is the Walrus. Usually not the best matchup, but we've still got a shield. The opponent has not, so we fire off the crunch. Crunch lands for big damage. The opponent is looking to get to the back-to-back charge moves. We're in a tricky spot. I don't want to shield up Skunk. I'm going to hope that Poliwrath has enough HP. We sneak. The opponent's 1 away. We're 1 away. You already know Poliwrath wins CMP. Dynamic Punch is going to be enough to seal the deal. GG's, and thanks for playing. The win streak is on 9. Can we go a perfect 10-0, spoiler alert, I've already told you, we lose this battle. So we lead into Dragon Breath Giratina. If it was on Shadow Claw, we would have 2 great responses, but actually Dragon Breath Giratina beats the entirety of our team. We come in to Drapion, and they answer with Swampert, as always, pretty dreadful. The opponent actually throws at good timing. However, if this is a Hydro Cannon, we will gain shield advantage, and it is a Hydro Cannon. My huge Gahonas are giving us, hopefully, somewhat of a chance at winning. Crunch draws a shield. The opponent is going to mudshot us all the way down. Not fantastic. We know Poliwrath on this moveset cannot hit him for anything. The opponent can't hold an Earthquake and a Hydro Cannon. So we know this is just going to be a Hydro Cannon. We threw on the CMP tie to not allow the opponent to get off another charge. We now switch out into Skunk. The opponent is staying in. I'm hoping they've got a Charmer in the back. We aren't going to shield the first Dragon Claw. The opponent is at the back-to-back. We are going to have to start shielding up something. We shield the next Dragon Claw, and what is in the back? It is Melmet. I'm going to look to throw on CMP, which we do. If they do not shield this Flamethrower, we could have a chance. They shield it up, and this game is unfortunately very much over. There's no point in shielding the Skunk, as we would get outpaced. The opponent manages to Thundershock us all the way down. I know you're going to bait me. I've got no intentions of shielding up. And the opponent actually does bait us. So we are going to take out the Melmetal, at least. But it looks like we are going to be saving a shield for Season 12. Down goes Melmetal. This is pretty hard countered. We had double poison in the back. They had 2 poison answers in the back. As both steel and ground resist poison. We lose the last battle. We went on a nice 9-1 run. So if you're looking for a fun team, I'd highly recommend Shadow Poliwrath, double dark poison, and holy crap, Shadow Skunk as a closer is phenomenal. So many Charmers, so many Scrafties, so many Jellies, Talons, and Skunk absolutely goes off when it faces all of them. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. After a bit of a break, I am going to try and start uploading more regularly. Once again, I'd like to say thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.